Hello everyone and welcome back to another video, which is part 2 as I follow the route of the former railway line from Macclesfield right through to Marple, opening in 1869, and it closed apparently as part of the Beeching closures in 1970, so a little bit more recent than some of the other lines that closed in the 60s. In part 1 I've got myself as far as Higher Poynton Station, and we're going to continue on in that direction. It's bridge number 15. Going to leave Poynton behind and head off towards Rose Hill Station at Marple, which is actually a little bit of this particular line that is still open, a little spur off onto the main line at Marple. And we've got a railway line to go under, a tunnel to go over, and a couple of other stations as well. And there's quite a lot of bridges on part 1 of this walk, so we're probably going to find a few more. Let's go. So in part 1 we picked up the route of this railway towards Marple, around about a mile outside of Macclesfield, and we continued on passing through Bollington, which used to have a station, and the remarkable viaduct is still there, Bollington Viaduct. We got to see that, and we finished at Higher Poynton, where I'm starting on this part of the walk. So we'll continue on from Higher Poynton and we'll head off towards our first station, which is Middlewood Higher. And there's also used to be a junction here and the railway going below between Stockport and Disley. Not long after that we'll find High Lane Station before crossing over another railway line, which is actually Disley Tunnel. Right below us is a portal there, out of sight, but I'll chuck a picture on at the right time. And then we go for a long couple of miles before we end up at Rose Hill Marple Station. And this station is currently open and you can get your trains to Manchester from here. Okay, got ourselves a bridge. This is bridge number 17 on the route now. There's a couple of these that had the steel supports and stanchions in the middle. Nearly every bridge on this route so far has been like that, or it's had a central brick support. Yeah, I think there's only probably one bridge on the entire route I've seen so far that hasn't had one of those, and that was an arch rather than a flat based bridge. I see another one coming up just down there now. Nelson Pit Visitor Centre was just behind us. That's a place to go and visit, and I believe there's a brickworks just down here, which is also a kind of a country park and visitor centre. Right, this one here is different to what we've seen so far. It's got a stone central support pier. That's a very reinforced industrial size one, isn't it? Crikey me, that is huge. Seems as if the bridge has been widened for a footpath at some point as well. There's the original one. Look, 1, 2, 3 arches. And carrying on over there. There was a junction up here. And look, I'm on a disused railway line with a station sign. We're coming up to Middlewood Station, but it's not on this line. We're about to pass under the railway line between Disley and Stockport, just a little bit further down here. And we've got a high level junction and a low level junction. High level was on this line and it went down to the line below to low level junction on the Disley to Stockport. And here is the junction, look. So Jackson's Brickworks was all the way over there, and this looped around down towards the low level line, what we're going to pass over very, very shortly, Disley and Stockport. That way it only takes you to a housing estate down there, so we're not going to bother looking at that. But because we've found the junction, that means just down here we'll find the active railway. This is Middlewood Higher Junction. You notice the signal box still in the frame there. That, I believe, is from 1958. We can jump forward to what I believe is 1962. The signal box has gone and there's a lonesome wagon stood on the track there. And this curve was used for carriage storage for a good number of years, and also for wagons. I believe that one looks like it's been burnt out. It looks like it's caught fire. And here's a photograph of the lower junction where it joins onto the active main line today. You hear that? Sound of a train while we're walking along a disused line. Just gone over there, going east. Very, very high up at this point. I can hear running water all the way down there. There's a river. That is extremely high. I can see the bridge just beyond these trees. So look, nice little station sign. This was the site of Middlewood Higher. And another plaque commemorating. Middlewood Higher Station opened in 1879 and basically owes its existence for a desire to create an interchange between the Macclesfield, Bollington and Marple Railway, and also the London North Western Railway that runs below between Stockport and Buxton. It consisted of 2 platforms and eventually closed on the 7th of November 1960. So look, we've got the original platforms for Middlewood Station just down there. I'll show you that in greater detail at the moment. You've got to imagine you could change trains here. You could get off at Middlewood Higher and collect a train down there. Trains to Manchester, trains to Buxton. Buxton being on the opposite side if you want to catch a train there, Manchester this side. And obviously you could also come up from these platforms to catch a train between Macclesfield and on towards Marple. Look at this central reservation, riveted. Quite a substantial beast this is, isn't it? Let's have a look at the line, looking down, and there's your platforms down there. Like platforms 1 and 2. Would 3 and 4 have been up here when they was both, you know, open at the same time? I'm not sure. To have a look down the other side, I've got to actually walk around, and we'll poke the camera over. No, can't get through that way. Let me just go through here. See, there's another like access down to the platforms just there. Look, I can pick you up and show you over, and there's that active line again. Middlewood Lower also opened in 1879, and there is no vehicular access to the station, and access is only by the woodland paths and also from the old railway running above. The nearest road is around about 800 metres away. Okay, quite a busy road coming up. This is Buxton Road. Probably the name of the road gives it away to where it goes, and it heads off towards Stockport and Manchester. Straight after that was High Lane Station. 2 platforms opening in 1869, lasting until May 1970. We're about to cross over another railway line. There's a tunnel down there, 3.5 kilometres in length. That's just over 2 miles. And it is Disley Tunnel. The portal is going to be just on the left. It'll be out of sight, we can't see it. 2.5 miles later, it bursts out on the approach to New Mills. So not the original bridge going under Buxton Road, look. Corrugated and rebored, most likely. It could have been filled in at one time, couldn't it? And they've bored it out again to carry on this route, the Middlewood Way. See if there's any sign of the original bridge when we get out the other end. Potentially their platform remains just there from High Lane Station. So nothing of the bridge, apart from I can see a wall, but you can't. That probably is stonework from the original platforms, isn't it? And again, on the opposite side too, and stretching all the way down. It looks like there's benches on the platform, very similar to Higher Poynton Station. Let's have a look up there for a quick nosy. Yeah, so this would have been indeed the platform, and the other one would have been there. It looks like a lot of it has gone, and a nice mock-up of High Lane Station sign. High Lane Station served the village of High Lane, part of Greater Manchester. With 2 platforms, it opened in 1869 and closed in January 1970, and the track was lifted in the following year. get back down so you can roughly see the length of where the other platform used to come to, because this one slopes down and finishes just there. The Disley Tunnel portal is just going to be over there, around that corner pretty much on the left hand side. Yeah, I could fly the drone and we could have a look at the portal, but we do not fly over railway lines because it's not allowed, you're not supposed to, and I'm not going to. I've just missed a train going into the portal. I don't think we'd have seen it anyway, but I can hear it. It's going Manchester way. Sounds very long, so it's probably a freight. So the tunnel is going to be somewhere there and the portal down there. I think I've actually got to go through that way on the way home. When I get a train from Rose Hill at Marple, I get one to Stockport and change and then come back, and I will go through that tunnel towards New Mills and Sheffield. So the tunnel portal is just there because I can see rails shining. You cannot see that, unfortunately, but we are stood smack bang on top of an active railway line. Right down there is Disley Tunnel, 2 and a bit miles, 3.5 kilometres towards New Mills and towards Sheffield as well. That's remarkable to think that that is down there. Brilliant. And it's still open and running today. I managed to find an image. I believe this is the northern portal, the one that we are walking just above, just out of sight. The other railway line should be atop of this tunnel portal. So looking at maps, the route going forward is very, very straight. There's no more stations now until we get to Rose Hill at Marple. I think it must be about 1.5 miles to go, which is probably going to take me about half an hour before I get to the station, and then hopefully I'll get there in time for the next train going off towards Stockport. See if I can put the drone up before I get there as well. I can see the hills of the Peak District in the distance, what I'm pointing at, but you might just be able to make them out. So we are getting close to that. I'm doing some walks around there tomorrow as well, which makes absolutely no sense on this video because they'll probably be all over the place anyway, even before or after this one, what you're watching now. But it has been nice along here. Hopefully still a bit more to see. So first arch bridge we've seen since part 1 near Bollington, I believe, where we lost the track bed just before going around the diversion towards Bollington Viaduct. That's in good condition, isn't it? No signs of any repair work, just basic weathering. Some noisy birds, it's lovely to hear. Yeah, it's a nice bridge, isn't it, that? Marple Rugby Union Football Club is just over there on my left. Marple Golf Course is over there on the right. About half a mile down there is Marple's Rose Hill Station. I find it fascinating that although Marple Station is still open, as we know, on the active line, Rose Hill Station, I wonder how that managed to survive, just being that extra spur off onto this line that we've walked all the way from Macclesfield. It's quite curious, isn't it, the cost of maintaining the junction and that little stub of line and all the signalling. Love to hear your thoughts on that one below. I'm glad it's open, I'm glad it's still there. Just interesting how it remained a survivor. Looks quite nice down there. Culvert popping out just there, and a little brook going through like a wooded ravine. That's also marks the end of Marple Golf Course just there, and then onto housing estates and other assorted units on the right hand side there. Football club and the rugby club is still on my left. I'd say about another 10 minutes to go down here. So our route presents us with one more bridge, and what a fine example it is. Look at all those lumps of stone sticking out the side. Stone all the way up on its piers, on the abutments, and stone walls. That's a fine one to finish on, isn't it, that? Very, very nice. So now on the final approach to Marple's Rose Hill Station. Straight down there where it's all green, opened in 1869 and still open today. So just on the other side of that, if we'd have carried on, the line comes through and here we are, Rose Hill Station. onto the working back to Stockport after coming all the way from Macclesfield along the railway that closed in 1970. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed this two-part series. Any comments, stick them below, any suggestions as well. Please like and subscribe and follow me on social media. See you in the next one. Bye for now. As always, thank you very much for watching. You can follow me on all of the social medias popping up below. I shall be back in this area pretty soon to follow up with more videos, explores and walks around Marple, Manchester and the Peak District too. See you soon.